Let's have a conversation about women who manage their boyfriends and their husbands' childcare responsibilities instead of holding that man accountable, holding his feet to the fire and saying, no, those are your doggone kids. You need to step up to the plate. But they'll stand by him and they'll do his responsibilities for him regardless. Hi, my name is Dr. Natalie Jones. I'm a licensed therapist. This commenter here says, my dad wasn't wealthy, but he wasn't destitute. He didn't take care of us because we weren't a priority. Like you said, he had money for drugs, alcohol, and the lottery. My dad's child support for me was $25 per month, and his girlfriend paid it. And this is another phenomenon. This is where women are standing beside and supporting these men that are not fathers of their children. These men are literally doing the bare minimum, if anything, when it comes to their children, but yet they have the support of women in their lives. And these women could be that man's mother, that man's grandmother, his aunt, his sister, his girlfriend, his new wife. And they see that he's not stepping up to the plate. And so what do? They step up and do it for him. And they basically prop that man and his kids up. And again, this is not all men. I'm not here to bash all men. I'm just talking about a phenomenon that regularly occurs in our society. These labors of the struggle love that women do for these men include paying child support payments, being on the hook for these payments too. When you get married, so you marry a man that doesn't pay his bills and that knows he hasn't paid child support for many years, thousands upon thousands of dollars. And surprise, when the tax time comes, guess whose wages and things like that are now getting garnished? Guess whose livelihood, financial livelihood is being affected because your man didn't take care of his financial responsibilities or his children. Other labors of love that these women sign on for is, standing beside this man, and maybe even helping him when he's going to court. He's battling for child custody. They will help him get his notes together, help him come up with arguments, create contentious dynamics with the prior wife or with the mother. So they get involved as a third party and do way more than they should be doing there. They may even pay for legal fees or help with the attorney strategies and things like that, or even help him with devising devious plans to get back at the mother of his children. And then also, too, they may be paying for him to live there and paying for the children to live there, paying for the children's school. Many of these women also become full-time babysitters, daycare providers, and cooks and homework helpers, after school helpers, and things like that for these children that aren't even theirs. And that father gets to skip off and ride off into the sunset and do him while you're essentially raising his children that you do not know, or that is not your responsibility to do this for. You're spending your own hard-earned money, time and energy and efforts raising children for a man that essentially doesn't want to have the responsibility and doesn't think that he should have the responsibility. So you may be responsible for bathing for the children, cooking for the children, cleaning for the children, doing all, keeping the kids at your house weekend after weekend. And you may not see that man because he may be off doing God only knows what. Or maybe even the kids just permanently are a fixture at your home. So instead of him even taking on the children at all, the children now live with you full time. Overnight, you have become a mother, whether or not you wanted to or not, for small children. And so you have to resume all of these duties. He may pop up occasionally just to check in and say, hi, bye. He doesn't give you a thank you. He doesn't drop off money. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't talk to you about him just dumping his children and the responsibility that goes along with that onto you. And if you do become stressed out, overwhelmed, or burdened, or you decide that you don't want the children anymore, he becomes very tone deaf to that conversation. He's unable to have it. He's telling you to figure out his problem. And that's why a lot of women become very resentful, very hateful, and very just angry and upset and begin to lash out at the children because I never asked for you. I never wanted this. I never asked to become a ready made mother. But instead of them giving the responsibility back to the man who dumped you onto her, she may lash out, become physically abusive, emotionally abusive, verbally abusive. She may neglect you where she just kind of leaves you sitting in a corner, and she may take care of her kids and her responsibility and forget about you and yours because hey, she didn't want this in the first place. And who knows, your father may also be encouraging her to forget about him. Just leave him there. You ain't got to do all that. I didn't ask you to do all that, right? So he'll dump him, or he'll just have this unwritten agreement where he has this woman take on these expectations of being a ready-made mother, but then when she tries to fight back or bite back, he says, I didn't ask you to do it. What do you want me to do? Why are you telling me this? And this man, in order to get you to do these things, he may have bamboozled you or hoodwinked you into believing that he was a family man. He may have sold you a pipe dream about these kids and what he wanted and what he was going to do. And then he just sort of at some point just bowed out gracefully and signed it over to you in an unwritten agreement. But these women are propping these men up. So behind these men that are not stepping up to the plate is usually a girlfriend, a wife, a fiance, a mother, a grandma, a sister, some other, an aunt, someone that's helping him prop him up, excuse me, and take care of his responsibility with his children. So this is a dynamic that is also very common. I want to thank this commenter for bringing this up. And if you like this, if you like me, you want to kind of stay in touch, be sure to subscribe to my newsletter. It's linked in my bio. Definitely listen to my podcast, A Date with Darkness podcast, across all platforms. It's been on for 8 years now. TikTok is changing. So for some of you people that interact with me outside of the US, I'm not sure what that means for you, but you definitely want to let's stay in touch. Thanks so much.